unfortunately for most of us, the reality is there's really only two paths to become financially independent and to be able to quit our job and retire. The first one is to save what we can every month over a long period of time. And after 20, 25, 30 years or longer, we'll be able to retire and live off of those savings. The second path, the path that, as Robert Frost would say, the less traveled path, the second path is to buy assets that will be able to, the income will be able to replace our salary. And that's what I want to talk about today. The three assets you can buy to replace your salary and maybe be able to retire quite a bit sooner. Okay, let's jump in. And I want to keep this list to what I consider to be passive investments as much as possible. So we're going to start off with my favorite passive investment. It's not for everybody. This isn't financial advice, but having worked as a financial advisor myself for over 20 years and seen people take different journeys, this is the path that I personally am on. And this is to have a portfolio of dividend stocks and to be able to live off the dividends that that portfolio is paying us. So how do we do this? It's the most important piece of this is to be concerned of the return of your initial money as opposed to the return on your money. If you focus on the return on your money, there are some public stocks that pay dividends of 8, 9, 10% or more. But you know what? Those are really risky stocks. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is looking at high quality companies that have great operational businesses, that have a competitive moat that it's highly likely they're going to be in a strong competitive position in 10 years. They have conservative balance sheets. They have great management teams. And those types of companies pay lower dividends, maybe 3% or 4%. That's not how you identify the company. Just because it pays a lower dividend doesn't mean that it's a strong company. For that, you've got to do a lot of research. And while I think exchange-traded funds and index funds can be a good tool for many investors, when it comes to dividend stocks, dividend-paying stocks, you really have to dig deep. It's as much of a credit analysis as it is an equity analysis, and it's a specialty. And because of that, I think working with a financial advisor who you trust, that has your best interest in mind, that has a history and a discipline of being able to pick good dividend-paying stocks for retirees. They're not trying to wow you with the returns. What they're doing is saying, hey, this is what we've done for 15, 20, 30 years. We've got a great track record. They may not, and they likely are not, beating the stock market. But what you want is somebody that can identify these diamonds that are hard to find, that they can find the needle in the haystack is probably the better cliche to use, because they're hard to find and you have to constantly evaluate them. I think most of us, for instance, I'm not picking my own dividend paying stocks. And I've got a lot of credentials that would say, I could, and I could do it on my own, but I want somebody that's doing this 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, that's been doing it for 15 years. So that's my favorite. Again, those types of companies tend to pay in the neighborhood of 3, 4, maybe 5%. So that's the first one. And that takes an area of specialization. The area that I've seen my clients be able to succeed at managing themselves is not quite as passive. And I've seen people with different skill levels be able to succeed at this, and that is building a portfolio of rental income properties, real estate. Whether that's individual homes and you're renting to individuals, or maybe that's a warehouse or some commercial space, office space, something like that. Obviously, the world changes a lot post-COVID. You could have had an office building that was fully occupied, and now your tenant doesn't need as much space and maybe they're looking at cutting back. So you have to be careful with real estate. And just because real estate's had a good run in the past does not mean it's going to continue to have a good run. In fact, when you're looking at real estate in today's market, I think you should look at it assuming that you're going to get little to no appreciation in the value of the real estate holdings. Now, which is unlike the dividend stocks. I forgot to mention it, but one of the reasons I like dividend stocks is if you can live off of the dividends and if the companies are chosen wisely, um, hopefully they'll continue to go up in value. The other thing for good, solid dividend paying companies, if you look at the S&P 500, the companies there, the dividend paying companies in the S&P 500, they have a history of raising their dividend rate at a rate faster than inflation. So if you can retire today off of that income stream, there's no guarantees, but at least in the past, they've increased the dividends at the rate of inflation or better historically. Now, I should say none of this is financial advice. I don't know your situation. And there's also periods of time where dividends get cut. 2008, 2009, during the great financial crisis, one of the dividend-paying sectors, the finance sector, that several companies were good dividend-paying companies, they had to cut back, as did maybe oil and gas investments that historically had paid a good dividend. And the reason they cut back was the market was down. It was harder to raise money. Basically, credit froze. So things can change, and they can also change in real estate. The other thing to remember is one of the things I've noticed is attorneys that help people with their real estate portfolios tend to have two areas of specialty. One is real estate, but the other one is bankruptcies, because there can be more risk with real estate because you're borrowing money typically to make the numbers work. And so the clients that I had that were successful, the number one theme that they shared to succeed over decades was they were conservative with their financing. So number one, we talked about dividend stocks. Number two, we talked about real estate. Number three, I'm going to talk about here just in a second, and it's the one that's going to be the match for the broadest group of us. But one of the things to remember is it's really important not just to have these income streams, but to have a good financial plan where you know where you are in retirement when you become financially independent, whether you retire or not, so that you actually feel comfortable spending this money. You don't want to be unnecessarily sacrificing, and you also don't want to be unknowingly putting your financial security at risk. The company that I like, instead of building your plan in Google Sheets or Excel, the software that I like is called Bolden. It used to be called New Retirement. You can reach Bolden at this link here. I am an affiliate. If you use this link, if you use the QR code, you'll be supporting the channel. Okay, now let's get to the portfolio, the investment that I like best. Again, disclosure, this isn't financial advice. And just because these strategies have worked for people in the past does not mean they're going to work in the future. But just a good, solid, diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. And to see, what kind of income can you get out of it? And this is the important part, and this is how it's different than a dividend stock portfolio. And taking some of the capital gains off the table. Qualified dividends and capital gains, long-term capital gains, tend to be very tax efficient. And so looking at that portfolio and saying, could I live off of the capital gains? Could I live off of the income of that? And instead of having a dividend stock portfolio, have a broad, diversified portfolio. So those are the three main areas that I like. If you enjoyed this video, I think the next video of mine that you'll enjoy talks about when it makes sense to retire. And unfortunately, as a financial advisor, the number one thing that I took away was people wait too long to retire. And that's what this video is about. Why waiting to 65 to retire might be a big mistake. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.